What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and here we are, another Friday. Who really could have seen the events that were coming to this past week? Who would have guessed it, right? Wonder Woman gets canceled. There was other stuff that happened too, by the way. It's just obviously DC Games or WB Games and their DC division obviously has really been struggling. But Monster Hunter is out, and while I haven't played the thing, it's doing very badly critical reception wise on PC, but it's of course reaching absolute gigantic numbers. Yu-Gi-Oh! The Early Days collection is out. I was going to play it, ran out of time, didn't actually set it up yet, but I do have it. Beautiful looking game. Lots of stuff happened this week, and you go into next week with Split Fiction. Very exciting. So I just want to welcome you all in. Hope you're all having a fantastic Friday. And yeah, well, we're here to talk about what you want to talk about, and we'll go from there. So just want to say hi to everybody. Anthony, Detective Cobra, Telos, what's going on? Supporter Crow, how's it going, buddy? Or Support Crow, not Supporter Crow. What's going on, man? Good evening, Matt. Hello. What a week. There's sometimes I wake up at the middle of the night or wake up early morning and I think, is it actually real? Is Wonder Woman actually, not happening? And the answer is yes, it's not happening. So it really sucks. Honestly, every time I think about it, I get rather disappointed just because of what happened. I really wanted to play this thing, even though, I mean, obviously we don't know much about it. Yeah, to stream just a little bit later. To be honest, I mean, what time is it? 5:30. Normally I stream 3 hours ago. So, about 3 hours late. I don't know if it'll always be like this, but yeah, I still want to stream on Fridays. Next Friday. I got a couple cool things planned. We're probably going to do a Scream live stream very soon, but we're fast approaching the 10-year anniversary of Podcast Now. So that is a pretty big deal to me. I was just a young man, when I started this thing. So I want to do something for it. I honestly haven't decided yet. Maybe we'll do a video or talk about it in a community post or something, but I definitely want to talk about doing something for a 10-year anniversary. Kraken Cat, how's it going? Nice image. Nice picture. Yep, I did see that. I did see the Lego. What's funny, Telos, both the comments here. What do you think of the new Shrek teaser? Both of those I covered on Podcast Now Plus the last 2 days. Yesterday, I talked about the Shrek thing, which I think looked terrible. It's just my opinion. I said in that video, I can't give you like a bullet point of like the 10 reasons I think it's bad. There's just something off. There's just something off about those looks of Shrek. And the video is doing actually really good on Podcast Now Plus. So check that one out. And as for the Lego one, yeah, I think we're going to probably get an announcement maybe sometime around like Summer Game Fest / Gamescom. I feel like would be a good time to show off the Lego game. So that is exciting because I think we will be getting really close to that. Yeah. I think I just saw I look at it. It's a nice name, and of course it's a great image. I like the colorful, I'm wearing blue right now. In fact, my blue matches your blue avatar, but I love that color. I love that color blue. Nintendo Direct next. Yep. Well, isn't it is it early April? Isn't it like April 7th or something? I don't remember the actual. I'm so excited. I'm excited just to kind of like get it over with. And I mean that in the best way possible, because then at least you can get the release date for the Switch 2, which of course is very exciting. We'll see Mario Kart, I think, in all its glory. You'll see probably Metroid 4. We'll see those third-party games. Maybe a couple surprises. Maybe freaking Persona 6 gets announced or something nuts. So obviously I want it to happen as quickly as possible, Well, then turn into a live. Yeah, so I don't know. Like, nobody's really talked about it, okay? But so Wonder Woman, I think from the jump was always going to be like relatively single player. Now, this is the one thing in all of the many years of me doing this that I can, I think, actually say like I started this. So I went on job postings for Monolith and I found the job posting that talked about live service. And I made a Twitter post about it and I made a video about it. And then you saw a lot of other people like the day after talking about it. Nobody credited me. That's whatever. Obviously, I still think about it. No, I don't really care. But that was pretty much it. Okay, so in terms of like if it ever changed genres or types of games, there was one. Well, it was I think it was like 3 job postings, but it was the same words, same like use of the words, and it described like a live service type thing, being a always online type thing. So I don't know if they were going to do microtransactions. I don't know if they were going to do because we heard a little bit about Gotham Knights through Jason Schreier, right? And he had talked about how the live service C parts of Gotham Knights was probably just going to be DLC, just like supporting the game over time. So it could have just been that. I mean, to be fair to everybody, if Wonder Woman had like live service elements, it could have just been supporting the game like a year or two after the game already released, which would have been okay. You know what I mean? So as far as I know, it was nothing major, but that's a fun little history thing that's now lost to time. I'm the one who found that, which I think is kind of fun. You know what? That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. 10 years. Maybe I should get Christy on it. We're going to be playing, her and I are going to be playing Split Fiction next week. And we'll probably be, well, I'll definitely do a review. Maybe she'll do a review. She's played Avowed for probably, I don't even know, 25 plus hours. She's going to beat Avowed before I do. So depending on how things go, you might see Christy reviewing Avowed in the next week or so on the channel. That would be fun. People like that, I think. How's it going, buddy? I'm 28, sadly. I'm a little bit older than you think I am. Yeah. Heading into 29. So I started when I was 18. I've long said to myself that I think I started just a few years too late. And like when YouTube was a little bit more of a Wild West, and I think my variety type stuff worked like 2000 and well, it would be 2015. I think my variety stuff would have worked in the very early 2010s more than it worked, when I started it. So yeah, I missed it just by a couple of years. But at the same time, do I really think I would have been good as a 16-year-old on YouTube, or 15 or 14-year-old? I probably would have been an idiot. I think I was probably an idiot until I was like 24, 25, 26. So it took me a while to stop being so stupid, and to watch what I say, things like that. Zion, what's going on, buddy? March 2nd. Oh my God, that's Sunday. Well, happy early birthday. And this will be the last time we talk before your birthday. So I hope you have a good one. And if you get anything really, really fun, you let me know. You send like a picture on Twitter or something. I love to see gifts for birthdays, Christmases, all sorts of holidays. I like to see what people get. So no, but you have a good birthday. For a vehicle customization, which is definitely not Oh, that's true. Unless you can customize like the flying car, maybe. No, it's pretty. I guess that kind of takes it out of the possibility, right? Lego or vehicle customization, maybe like Batman. If they're doing like you could maybe customize the Batmobile, because that would be like the thing that I kind of want, right? Hopefully. Now remember, like there was those layoffs at that studio, and some people will tell you that it didn't really affect things. I don't know how you lay off half the team. It was literally 50% of the studio of The Last Ronin got cut. I don't know how you lay off half your team, come in the next day, and everybody is just working at perfect, harmony. Just don't think that's going to happen. So I hope the game's okay, but I don't know. I'm telling you. I said about that before you did. Wolf Among Us, I think Wolf Among Us is in the exact same situation where I think we would absolutely, it's a possibility. I don't want it to happen, but I absolutely think it's possible that one day you open your phone, you go on your computer, whatever, you open up Twitter, and you see that Telltale shut down and Wolf Among Us is canceled. That's just what I think. There was a really funny, I don't know if you saw this, Detective Cobra, or anybody. There was a very, very funny Wolf Among Us 2 leak that I think was like 4chan, and I didn't believe it. As soon as I saw it, I saw, okay, there's a Wolf Among Us leak. I said, okay, probably not real. And it was going through, and it went through like some of the chapters and went through some like dialogue and scenarios and things that were going on. And at the very end, it talked about Deck 9 that like Deck 9 probably has it under control and it's okay. It's like you just wasted everybody's time because you know what I mean? Like you just destroyed all credibility because you said it was Deck 9 that was making it. So unbelievable. Unbelievable. Oh, I'm texting my wife real fast. What do you hope or think we'll see first? GTA 6 trailer 2? Oh, shoot. Oh, that's a good one. Um, I think if PlayStation has a summer event, which seems somewhat likely, then I think they'll show Ghost of Yotei. So, and I don't know when GTA 6 would appear, right? So I'll say Ghost, but I think it actually low key could be GTA 6, depending. Yeah, I'm very, very, very excited for. I think Mario Kart is an elite game. While I do believe PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale, of course, is the greatest brawler of all time, more than Super Smash Bros. I do think of all the Mario Kart clones that are out there. Crash, of course, love team racing. Grew up playing Crash Bash and then Crash Team Racing, and I was a god at both of those games. At the same time, I don't think there's a better game than a better racing game than Mario Kart. I think it's kind of unmatched. Mario Kart 3D, Mario games, Smash Bros. Oh, that's a good one. Oh man, the Oblivion remake on a Nintendo thing. I mean, it's definitely possible. It's gonna be just as weird as you would think it's gonna be, but that's pretty good. I think definitely we get a new 3D Mario game for sure. Yeah, well, so remember, like the stuff from Jason Schreier was that it was gonna kind of. I mean, the way it sounded originally was it would literally be like Middle Earth, right? Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War, leaning on the Nemesis system, but also probably that gameplay mechanic as well. Then they pulled it back, pulled it back, pulled it back, probably took out the Nemesis system altogether or massively changed it. And it was going to be more like God of War. So I like, I've said this before, like I really like God of War 2018. I love God of War Ragnarok. I think the gameplay of those games, especially when you go for like 100%, when you go for the platinum, when you're facing all the hardest bosses, there's a lot of skill required in that game. There's a lot of I was gonna say talent. There's a lot of like little things that I think make that gameplay very, very special. That doesn't mean every game should do it, you know? So we might need to stop doing that. Yeah, no, I don't want Wolf Among Us 2 to get canceled. Um, it's probably at the top of my list of games that I'm worried about that I don't want to get canceled. You know, you think of BioShock, you think of Wolf. Crisis 4 was on that list, and Crisis 4 is on indefinite hold. There's the 007 game. I mean, there's a lot of different games that we heard about 3 to 4 years ago or more, depending on the game. Tomb Raider, and we haven't seen anything from it since. So Wolf Among Us is probably the one I'm looking forward to the most of that group. Like BioShock can be very special, but without Ken Levine, I kind of doubt it. Yeah, I think it's definitely possible. Yeah, I think there's a real possibility you see the GTA 6 trailer before the summer. And I saw the Jeff Grubb thing. I made a video on the Jeff Grubb thing. I think it's going to happen. I really do. I raised my percentage quite high, and I'd be very, very excited to get that God of War thing. Tony Hawk. Yep. Yeah. I like how it's just kind of a like we know for sure. I mean, we don't really know for sure. Okay. There's still some people out there that think maybe God of War 2018 is going to get remastered instead, which I very much don't believe. But we got to keep our expectations low, as Kratos would say, right? Yeah, I don't know. Like what they say is that Assassin's Creed Shadows is like looking to perform really good. You know, it's on track to be what the second most successful Ubisoft game or Assassin's Creed game that they've ever done. Don't really know what that means, right? Because that doesn't necessarily mean sales. But I don't know. I don't know. Like they can't lie. You know, I mean, if the game comes out and it sells really, really well, then they'll say it. If it sells horribly, like you can't lie. If it sold 2 million and they wanted 5, you can maybe like word it weird, but you can't lie that it's suddenly sold 3 more million than it did to your investors, right? There's absolutely no way. So I feel like we are 3 weeks away from figuring out what's going to happen with Ubisoft, because if Assassin's Creed flops, it's over. And if Assassin's Creed does really well, I think it's just kind of prolonged. I think Ubisoft is still in so much trouble that they probably can't get out of it, but at least they'll survive. They'll have more time. I would not be shocked if we don't see Intergalactic for the entirety of 2025. I don't know that for sure, but that would just be my kind of opinion. You asked Shinobi if Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra was still this year, and he said he's been looking out for it. Oh dear. that doesn't sound very like direct, like that. Oh yes, it's absolutely coming out this year. Not ideal. Yeah. Yeah. We are getting very close. I can't really say I'm looking forward. I feel like we talk about The Last of Us every couple of weeks, which is okay. I love repeating topics. I actually say that I don't mean that like to be that much of a joke. The season's gonna happen. It's gonna do its thing. I am interested to see what they expand upon, what they kind of jump to and stuff, but I'm not super like at the edge of my seat, like ready for season 2. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Yeah, you're probably going to get that kind of stuff, and I talked about that, made videos, the Laura Bailey hate online. I think she seems like a really nice person. She's played like 150 different characters and stuff. And, the story with her, right? Wishing her and like her kid, to be eliminated, let's say, not okay. You can hate a character, and that's maybe where I kind of separate myself. You can hate characters. Who really should tell you what characters that you have to like or dislike? If you want to absolutely despise a character, you have every right to. But to take that step and to say, okay, well, now I'm going to go after the person who wrote that character, I'm going to go after the person that was that character, to a degree, makes no sense. If you hate it that much, the person who wrote it, maybe you should know who that is and just never support, anything that they make again. There's your way of kind of standing up to it, right? That's kind of just, what I've kind of been saying for a while, I feel. I did see that. Yeah, I did see that Black Panther thing. I wanted to make a video and I just never really got around to it, but it sounds pretty darn good. We know, funny enough, that Black Panther game is the executives from Monolith, from I guess not necessarily Wonder Woman, but it's from them. So I don't think it's going to have a Nemesis system, but I think it should be a pretty good open world game. But I did see that stuff, yeah. I don't know how likely it is. I don't know how likely it is. I want it to be likely, but you never really know. You never really know. But I don't know. Maybe I could see it happening at like the Xbox event in June, or a Jeff Keighley thing. I think those are kind of the two most likely scenarios. No, I mean, I don't think so either. I think Wolf, Crisis, BioShock, those are probably closer to Wonder Woman, Would you recommend Bloodborne for someone who's never played a Souls game? It's a very different kind of Souls game, like Bloodborne, Sekiro, Elden Ring. Those are 3, I feel like, different types of games that you probably could go in for the first time. I don't think it's an easy game. I've struggled with it, as I've struggled with every FromSoft game, but I think it's probably one of the 3 that you could like jump in as a newbie, I feel, because I think it's got some of the most unique kind of feel to it of those games. Yeah, I'm hoping to. It's gonna be something. I mean, like last year, at least we had Rebirth, and then we had the fallout of Rebirth, which was a fun 2-3 months, and then that was it, And now no Kingdom Hearts, no Final Fantasy, definitely no Final Fantasy. I think all of this year. Maybe you see Final Fantasy next year, but you should also see Kingdom Hearts. So, yeah, no, the Hitman games are phenomenal. Phenomenal games. And I think the 007 game has potential to be like a game of the year type game. Like, I really believe that. So, yeah, I don't know. I want to see it too. Yeah, there was a couple of the, what was it, Fan Fest, IGN's thing. There was a couple of the studio that made Metroid Dread. That game looked really, really cool. The Terminator game. A couple studios, new games looked nice. Oh boy. I think they're just. I mean, I know when one does something bad, everybody says that they're worse, right? So like Ubisoft is worse for a couple days, then WB shuts down Wonder Woman, and we all say that they're the absolute worst and even worse than Ubisoft. In reality, they're both kind of terrible. Has Ubisoft has put their entire lifeline on one franchise, so that's pretty terrible. And they've also just really struggled, but they've also made like Prince of Persia and stuff. So Prince, the Lost Crown. So like they have things here and there, but they're too heavily reliant on just Assassin's Creed, and they've made so many bad decisions. And I don't know, they've almost shaped the industry of like the Ubisoft open world formula type thing. So like they've done a lot of weird damage to the industry, but then you go to WB and they just can't do anything right. Like you did Hogwarts right, you did Mortal Kombat right up to a certain point, but I wouldn't say really recently. You haven't had a Lego game in several years, and then the Skywalker Saga was kind of weird. Gotham Knights was fine, but WB Montreal made one game in 9 years. Rocksteady's a complete failure that took 8 years. If you go down both their paths, they're both really, really bad. Really bad. I wouldn't want to be either of them. I would choose to be EA before I chose to be those two, which is crazy. Crazy. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And it's you see comments, oh, it's so easy to say it. I mean, look, you surround yourself with smart people, and then maybe one of us could actually do it. I don't understand how this happens. I really don't. I think again, there's some things I feel like that kind of everybody deserves a little bit of blame, right? Like you think about Monolith. They had a couple canceled games. You can't always just blame the suits and the executives, right? There were people that worked on those games for years that it didn't work. So like why didn't it work, right? Eventually the leaders that made the Middle Earth games, they left. Well, why did they leave? Were they unable to did they do like lightning in a bottle and they weren't able to do it again? Or was it a mix? Was it a little bit of meddling from executives and stuff? Like, everybody I think deserves, like Wonder Woman was in the works for like 3-4 years and rebooted. I know they didn't have leadership, but it's like, if you can't make anything worthwhile in 3 to 4 years, what do you do? And worthwhile is in like they really believe there was nothing here, so they shut it down. So I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of blame to go around. There really is. And I don't know if like one person would be able to fix it, but you might as well try because obviously those people are not fixing it. Uh, Games after 2025. So I want to know what the makers of the Plague Tale games are up to. That would honestly be like a top 3 for me. Giant Sparrow, who we know, there was that article about what they're doing. I'd like to know more about that. That's a good one. Last Rona would probably be up there for me. Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy. I'm trying to go like publisher by publisher, I'd like to see Cory Barlog's game. So there's a lot. I mean, there's definitely, I could probably keep going. The next Halo, Gears of War, E-Day. There's a lot of them. Yeah. Again, easy to say, but maybe it is all that easy. Maybe it is all that easy. I would have been way more skeptical about Suicide Squad. I would have said, "Are you sure about this?" And before we released it, I don't know. I did hear about there's the rumor of either a showcase or a state of play. I did a video on it about a week ago, but yeah, I hope we get something because PlayStation still needs to show us some stuff. Crimson Desert. Yep. Well, Crimson Desert is just a game that's releasing in the fall. I will get it so long as it's not releasing like within a week of GTA, which I feel like it kind of could, but then also I don't think so. But I'm very excited for Crimson Desert. It breaks my heart too. It certainly does. So I'm a bad person to ask for Monster Hunter just because it's never really clicked with me. Monster Hunter's just never really been a franchise for whatever reason. I played the last one with my wife just a little bit. She played probably 60 hours of the last one. She really likes it, but I don't know. It's just something about the formula that I can respect, but I can't get into. I can't get into Monster Hunter. So I don't know. I don't know. For me personally, like, my tastes. You've seen a lot of my videos. It's not really for me. So I'm probably bad to give advice for it. I really believe I've been told, not even like behind the scenes, like, a lot of these leakers, insiders, whatever, it's kind of like the ones that you don't always hear about, right? I mean, I've just like outright asked them like live on Twitter and stuff like that, like, are we getting it? And the answer always seems to be yes. So like, I don't know, as far as what they have told me, not even like behind the scenes, nobody's really whispered. Oh no, the stupid camera, I hate it when it does this. Nobody's really whispered at me like behind the scenes and said, "Hey, there." By the way, if somebody wants to do that, I will not say a word. I will contain my excitement. But I've never been reached out to, super quietly to say, "Hey, well, actually, actually, one time I was actually, but I don't know how far that went along. But I want Sly. Obviously, it would be that would be the greatest thing like to happen. My thoughts on direct. Oh, it's fun. Oh, look at you. Both of you guys asked at the same time. Let's answer both of them. What are your thoughts on Directive 8020? And will you be? There you go. Exactly. Okay. Same kind of line of thinking. So I'm excited for it as I'm excited for all Dark Picture games. I don't know. I always set myself up, I feel like, for a little bit of disappointment. They have let me down before, but they've also made some good ones. I think Man of Medan was overhated by me. I think actually it's a pretty good game. If you guys watch my third channel, Back to the Past podcast, now Back to the Past, I did a video on Man of Medan like a year and a half ago, and I actually really like that game. Little Hope, I remember thinking it was fine. House of Ashes, I think, is a great game. I think it's the best game they've made in the Dark Pictures. So they're all over the place. The Devil in Me, I hated. It had performance issues for me on PlayStation when I played it. I also just thought the game wasn't very good. So I'm excited for Directive 8020 as much as I can be, and I hope that because they gave it extra time, they absolutely gave it more time than the others. Hopefully that shows, you know what I mean? And hopefully it works. And then what do you think the next horror anthology? Oh man, I mean, they've gone to space. They've done like an alien thing. They've done kind of like time travel, right? Like the witch trials with modern time. Man, I don't know. I feel like, man, I want to say like slasher, just like basic, like Until Dawn had some slasher components to it, and then the Quarry had a little bit of like the who done it, like what's going on type thing. But it was more supernatural than anything else. So the only time they've really ever dabbled in like a slasher was Until Dawn, and it was really like the first third of that game was probably a slasher. So I think they could do just like a literal, just full blown 6-hour slasher game. I think would actually be maybe that's a little bit too basic for them, but that's what I would do. That's what I would personally do. I did, yeah. I'm very excited. I mean, PlayStation needs to speak. They need to show us some stuff. Oh, good question. Yeah, that's a good question. So I've never put too much stock into it just because they're so different. I think I've seen a lot of other people put a lot of stock into it, but I compare games. I compare games a lot. But Ghost of Yote to me will be compared to Ghost of Tsushima, and Assassin's Creed Shadows will probably be compared to the last four, like Origins, Odyssey, Valhalla, Mirage. That's what I would compare them to. That's what I will compare them to. I won't really compare them, I think, to each other just because they're not really the same thing. All right, let me get to the super chat and then I will go backwards. I appreciate the engagements. There's a lot of you guys commenting. I'm going to try to get to all your comments. Okay. How are we doing? What the heck is the time at? Half an hour. Okay. We got another like half an hour. Thank you, Gohan, by the way. Great name, of course. If Sony are going to continue giving us remasters and remakes and PlayStation needs to dig deep. Exactly. I don't get it. I don't really get, honestly, well, I do. I get it to a degree. The hate, there's a lot of hatred for remakes and remasters. I get most of it. When it comes to like the God of War thing, there are some people that really despise the idea of the Greek saga coming back. That one, I can get it to a degree, but I don't agree with it. I think, like you said, I mean, what I want PlayStation to do is just get more experimental. Like, keep doing remasters and remakes, but get a little crazy. I'm not even the biggest medieval or fan out there. But at least at least they did it. You know what I mean? Like, getting a remake of that first game. I don't think it's the greatest game of all time. I never actually played it when it originally, back 99 or 2000, whatever. I never played it, but the fact is they were trying. They're trying, and doing something with Sly, I think, would show that they're trying. If you do Jack and Daxter, if you do just some like obscure PS2, PS3 stuff, at least it shows me that you're doing different things, So that's what I would like to see. I want to see them, just like you said, I want to see them, if they want to continue, good. I actually would support them continuing remasters and remakes, but we need to stop remastering the PS4 generation. We have a lot of PS3 and PS2 games that deserve some love, Well, we are getting a Splinter Cell game, but it's taking a very long time. So I actually will tell you this. I do think we will get a Splinter Cell reveal at the next Ubisoft event. Like, if Ubisoft does a summer thing, I do believe Splinter Cell would be there. So that's just my prediction. Yeah, 2025 is, I mean, we are literally 2 months in, and we have one of the biggest RPGs of all time in, Monster Hunter, but I actually was referring to Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Monster Hunter. I've been playing Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. I've been playing like 18 hours of that game. I'm going for the platinum. That game, I think, is just a blast, just a lot of fun. Avowed, I think, is a very, very solid game. You've had Lost Records is pretty good. So you've had some really strong games even so far, and we're just getting started. I think Split Fiction is going to be a Game of the Year contender. I really, really do. So, if Capcom makes DMC6, well, I'll tell you this. I'm going to bypass your question just to say we need a DMC6. Okay, let's just get it. Let's just get it first. Honestly, because they're going to do the DMC. Well, maybe the DMC1 thing, right? That remake rumor seems pretty okay, pretty solid. So I would like to see that happen, and then maybe after that, then we can talk about DMC6. But no, DMC needs to come back. Needs to come back. I played 5 for the really first time I've ever played. I played it back when it originally came out. Just didn't jive with it. I didn't give it enough time. And I played it about a year ago, and that game is just such a masterpiece. So much freaking fun. And I miss that franchise. I remember renting those games and just being really bad at them, Makes a boat. Yeah, really, really. Do you think Suicide Squad Killer Justice League was always, because personally for me, I wish we got an actual Superman game similar to God of War 2018, because that would be amazing. I mean, obviously, Superman as a God of War thing, that sounds kind of interesting. No, I don't know. Killer Justice League was, so you're saying, like, do you think they were always going to do Suicide Squad? I think so. I think that's the talk, is that, after Batman, they wanted to do Suicide Squad. They didn't want to do Superman. Remember, we talked about that in the video like last night. So that's fun. I was thinking about doing the thing on Dragon Age. I think I got other topics to cut. I look at my notebook over here. I think I got a full list of. Plus, I've talked about the failures, in my opinion, the failures of Dragon Age, and I do think that's not a good sign. Definitely. Look, it's good for the people. It's good for literally the consumers, because you get to play Dragon Age for free. If you waited just 4 or 5 months, right? I think that's a very bad sign when looking at the game, that this quickly it made it on PS Plus. That obviously is not a good sign for. And what's funny is, remember, EA was kind of banking on, well, maybe it'll sell over time. It's not going to sell over time when you put it on a subscription service like this so quickly. So I think that game is dead. I think that game, whatever sales it has, which was half of what they wanted, it's not getting any more sales after that. That's just my opinion. Their game is definitely soon. Well, obviously it's not soon enough. I think their game is probably like the next one up after Lego, but NetherRealms games probably not till like fall of next year or the first half of 2020. What year are we in? 2027, you know? Nick, no worries. No worries. I know I got to get, if we're going to be starting later, I got to make sure I let you guys know that we're starting later. But like I said, I think next week we're going to do a Scream live stream. That's kind of my plan. And the week after, we gotta celebrate 10 years of podcast. Now, gotta do something. Gotta maybe play a special game or do special prizes or something. I don't know. I don't have a lot of money, so I mean, I could maybe do a giveaway, but it would be very small, and I don't know if I can swing it. But no, we'll see. I want to celebrate it though. I mean, 10 years. You don't celebrate 10 years all that much and all that often. And I hope I'm around for 20, and that would be a freaking, man, 38, 20 years on YouTube. Could you imagine? I think it's going to happen. I think I'm going to do it, but it's still a long time away, you know. Maybe I'll get canceled by then. Executives care about money, right? They care about trends. They care about, you know, kind of following that stuff. They're passionate for sure, but they're just not passionate about the same things as we are passionate about. And it's tough, you know, again, like to not just be Mr. Oh, all executives are bad. You know, you need smart money people along with passionate creators. You know what I mean? Whenever you make anything, if you make music, if you make a game, if you make a movie, you know, it's one thing to be passionate and be into just the arts, right? Creating it. But you also have to have that side of you of money and promotion and kind of getting out there, because you can do the greatest thing of all time. If nobody sees, you know what I mean? If nobody sees it, nobody cares. So it's not even worth the time doing it. So sometimes one person can do it. Sometimes you need two different people, right, that are good at different things. And but then it gets too big. And that's really, I think, what's happened to the gaming industry is these things have gotten too big. And the passion for the art is almost entirely gone for the highest of the high, right? They just don't care. Large part of not being able to make a Wonder Woman game and working on video games is much easier than people think. It's just about getting the CEOs to agree to a good idea that is not a battle pass. Yeah, well, yeah. There you go. There you go. I really don't think it should have been that hard. You know what I mean? Again, it's easy for me to say it, not being not working on video games. But no, I think you're right. I think several things just come down to approvals and what they want versus what you want, and like the big picture kind of thinking. And if they don't align, you know, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. So I definitely could understand that. Yeah, well, you know, I really want another Plague Tale game just because I think Amicia is one of the greatest. You know, you talk about female game characters, and I always mention Max and Clementine and all these characters, but Amicia in Plague Tale is one of the greatest. Not even just female if you want to break it down, but she's a phenomenal character, a modern phenomenal character in gaming that I feel like just deserves more. You know, she got 2 games and really stood out in the second game, obviously. But if it ends there, it ends there. And I guess then I would say I'm just excited for what they do next. You know what I mean? Because that team would be working on something. So whether it's a new Plague Tale game, that would get me very excited. But even if it's not a Plague Tale game and it's just a new game, I mean, that team is very talented as long as they're still there. That's a very talented team, that Plague Tale team. Dragon Ball fan, what's going on, buddy? I'm doing good. How about you? You know, Kingdom Come Deliverance is difficult in a different way than FromSoft games. You know, it's a little bit more like methodical. You know, watching your sleep and your eating, and you know, not being overburdened, and kind of I mean, it's got a similar theme of like figuring the game out, you know, as you go, and kind of like you just learn as you go. That's similar, but what the game actually is very different, you know? So it's I don't know. The way of thinking about it is probably the same, but what you're actually doing is very, very different. Pirate game. No, yeah, no, I'm with you. Pirate game. That's if Rockstar were to make another open world game, it would be Pirates of the Caribbean, or just pirates in general. Yeah, I mean, I think I've said this. Like, I would immediately greenlight a Superman game somewhere. Somebody would be making me a Superman game tomorrow. Maybe we can do a video like that if I was in charge of DC. New Battlefield looks amazing. It does, but it's only been like 10 seconds. So, you know, I think it's gonna be good, but you know. I did play Epic Mickey Rebrushed, and I loved it. It's a repetitive game to a degree, but funny enough, Telos, I believe next week on Back to the Past, it's the Epic Mickey video. I actually played it back around Christmas. Like I beat it, like I finished it. Maybe like Christmas Eve is when I did it, and I recorded all the way back then, and it's coming out this Tuesday, March 4th. So that's funny. Um, I would ideally like to stream every event, but life gets in the way. And it's I like it. Like I like experiencing it with you all. I think that kind of enhances it. But there's nothing wrong with just like kind of but there's also a part where it's like, well, it would be nice to kind of just sit back and watch these things and not have to like really 'cause, you're dedicating a lot of energy to really focus and analyze the stuff. But I love doing it. If I could do every PlayStation event, every Xbox event, I think I would, Tomorrow is March already. And your picture says it all. you know. Tomorrow is March. We're almost there. Yeah, I do love Until Dawn. And Supermassive has been very inconsistent since Until Dawn, but they're still a studio I watch quite a bit. Silent Hill 2 remake. Oh my god. Well, I hope you're enjoying it. Different kind of game, isn't it? Great game. Great game. Also, hello, Epic. How are you? Um, yeah, I can understand it. I think, I don't know if you saw, I did a Devil in Me review, and, it was mixed. It was mixed, the reception. The game just didn't function for me. Like, there's some of the voice acting I remember being terrible as well. It's just, I don't know. It had some good. It definitely had some good. But I think if I were to rank them, I'm legitimately putting The Devil in Me as the worst game that they've made since Until Dawn. So that's just my opinion. But look, I've given all of them a try. Like I don't know. Directive 80/20 could be terrible. I'll still get excited for the next game. Like that's just me. That's just my personality. But there's just something about that game, man. I'll have to give it another try. I try to do that. Man of Medan, I didn't love originally. Then I kind of loved it, and then I kind of reverted back, and then I actually think it's a very good game. That's like my final thoughts on Man of Medan. It's a good game. Little Hope, all of the games I've only played once. Until Dawn, I've played like 4 or 5 times, but The Quarry, I've only played it one time. Little Hope, I've only played once. The House of Ashes, I only played once and loved it. I think House of Ashes was awesome. And then The Devil in Me only played once. So we're getting close. Within the next couple months, I'm going to be playing Ghost of Tsushima for the second or third time. I think I maybe have played it twice. So I'm going to be playing Ghost, and then The Last of Us Part 2 for the second. I've only played Last of Us Part 2 one time, the day it came out, the day after it came out, and that was it. So I'm very excited to try it again. How close are we getting to Spider-Man 3? Still probably 3 years away. Sadly. Yeah. Well, the SpongeBob one could be. Well, no, because of the wording. Maybe the SpongeBob one isn't a remake. I mean, hey, I'll take more. I'll take more remakes from them. Yeah, I have very fond. I mean, it's funny you mentioned that, right? I have very fond memories of Ghost of Tsushima. So we'll see. Is it a game that's as good as I remember? Is it worse than I remember? I'll tell you in 2 months, 2-ish months. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe they were waiting for the 20th anniversary. I will say, I mean, they were doing other stuff. 2018 Ragnarok. I feel like this is a good time. I feel like this is a good time to do God of War. I like remakes of games if it's a game I never play as well. Exactly. That always helps. That definitely always helps. I do not personally believe Wolverine will get canceled. I guess it could, but I don't think it will. Avowed? What about Avowed? Like I said, I like Avowed. I think Avowed's a good game. Christy's been playing it far, far more than me. When I've been playing Like a Dragon, she's been playing Avowed. And she's played more of Avowed than I have played of Like a Dragon because I've fallen behind. And yeah, so I got to go back. I'm going to go back into Avowed probably pretty shortly. Classic PS2 game. Recommend Shadow of Memories. It's a 3D point-and-click adventure. Oh my god. Well, I love you describe it so well. I like those elements. I like those themes. Let me write it down. Shadow of Memories. This is the 10-year anniversary of Danganronpa, and I'm going to be replaying that game. I played that game. On my channel, on this channel. Oh God. 8 years ago, 7 years ago. So not exactly when it first came out, but I loved it to death. Danganronpa, I think, is one of the best video games ever created and one of the best franchises ever created. And it's been 7 years, and I'm going to play it again for the 10-year anniversary this fall. Very excited. And yeah, I'm going to do. I did a Silent Hill video 2 days ago on the Bloober team. Because I think Bloober team is making a new Final Fantasy. They probably are going to do a Final Fantasy game at some point. No, I just did a video on Bloober team and Silent Hill like 2 days ago. Of course, whenever there's a new Silent Hill game, I will be there. I promise. Yeah, there you go. Try out Dragon. I mean, there's no harm in doing it, I do think Star Wars Eclipse is still going to happen. I gotta say, I really believe it. I really believe it. People just shared the game. Yeah, I mean, I just don't think the game did very well, You ask this question every time, Detective Cobra. Yes, I do think it can be good. Yes, I do believe it can be good. Crazy time. We are in crazy times, aren't we? The world is quite a place. I think Doom is the more slam dunk thing. I think Lost Soul Aside could be really good, but also could be highly mediocre depending on how it goes. So I think the more surefire bet, I think would be Doom. So that's just me. The picture of the Lantern series was an interesting picture to share. It didn't really give us anything, so that was fun. Yeah, I think I loved Plague Tale Requiem was my game of the year, that year. I think maybe, or was it? Yeah, because it was 2022, right? Gotham Knights came out right after it. They gave me a code for Plague Tale 2.5 weeks before the game came out. I didn't think it was going to be like 18, 19 hours because I played it multiple days. And Gotham Knights came out like a day or two, maybe 3 days after Plague Tale. And what a time to be alive, That was quite an era because Plague Tale was just a masterpiece. And Gotham Knights was an experience, leading into that game when that game came out. It was a better experience, I feel like, than Suicide Squad, to be honest with you. So, I wish we could go back personally. Evil West is a great game. That's a good callback right there. Semi-open world survival game. Yeah. But if they want to stick with what they're doing, I'm fine with them just repeating. So I think they're gonna film it this year. Personally, I think, or maybe they'll announce it this year. So hopefully, like late next year, sometime in 2027, would be the next Pirates movie, which is despicable, by the way, because that'd be, I think, 10 years after. I think 5 was 2017. So yeah, we're approaching 10 years, which is sad. And he better play a big role, otherwise I'm not watching it. So that's my opinion. I push for a Harley Quinn game in the style of Arkham series, but that would be great. Yeah. I have a couple ideas. Maybe I'll do a video. Maybe I'll do a video of like what I would do with DC, or WB games just in general. Because I got some ideas. Yeah. The members only video, if you guys are channel members or Patreon members, the video that'll go up probably tomorrow is on Daredevil Born Again. And I'm very excited. I'm going to try to watch it immediately next week. So that's the members video. I'll probably do a review of Daredevil on Podcast Now Plus, like free to all. I'm not going to paywall it, but I'm excited, but I'm also very scared because if they mess it up, they've messed so much up. So I wouldn't put it past them, but I really want it to be good. Estimate the Superman game wouldn't. Yeah, I think and a budget would be around 90s. Yeah, I really don't. I mean, a Superman game max would be a couple $100 million to fund. I said that right? Maybe 150 million. And if it sells 5-6 million, it makes money. Not that bad. Not that bad at all. Yeah, I think I will. Should host Ubisoft. That's a good. You guys are giving me all sorts of ideas. I'm booked up. Okay, I got every video that I still have to record to end this week. Today, tomorrow, Sunday. I got all the topics, so I can't do it this week. But you know what? I'm gonna write it down. If I, why don't I just do all of them? If I were in charge of WB Ubisoft, should I do PlayStation? I think I'll do PlayStation as well. PlayStation has had a okay time compared to some of these other ones, but they could be doing better. I could run it better. I'll just say it. I'll just be controversial. What's going on, man? Thanks for stopping by. I hope I'm not taking you away from the Final Fantasy video. Wolvie gets canceled. Wolverine could get canceled for sure, but I don't want to think about that possibility. We already just went through. We already just went through it with Wonder Woman. I think Wolverine's still happening. I think we will see Wolverine this year. Haven't I said that before? That's a prediction of mine. I think we'll see Wolverine in 2025. Force Unleashed 3 would rock. I will say, 2 was rough. 2 was rough, but I have very fond memories of 2, even though I kind of even knew back then, even when I was younger, that it wasn't that good. But they were under immense constraint, and they made that game in a year and a half or something ridiculous, right? There's no way that would ever happen now. So I think you could do it, but I got to go back. I played Force Unleashed 1. Aspire did that port to the Switch, and it was a couple of years ago, right? Maybe 2 years ago. They gave me a code. I like it. I think the PS2 version of the Force Unleashed is the best one. But and then Force Unleashed 2, I remember fondly, but I don't know if it's all that good now. You do need to play the Plague Tale games. They're great games. Why do you think more studios haven't copied the Arkham style of gaming? I think, studios have. Studios definitely have, if by Arkham style you mean like the free flow combat, there's been so many clones of it, you know what I mean? So I think that reached the mainstream in terms of trying to literally copy like what Arkham Asylum, or I used to just said Arkham. Spider-Man proved that you can do it. Again, I think it's just maybe they think only superhero games can do it, and then they're very expensive to make. They're risky to make, so it just doesn't happen. You know what I mean? Maybe something like that, but I don't know. Broken Sword, The Shadow of Templars. You like point and clicks, huh? I'll write that down as well. I'll write it down as well. There's a few games I got to add to my backlog now. My backlog's big enough, but I will add it. I think Battlefield comes out like October, November, personally. Oh, there's my dogs. What's your thoughts on Pokemon Z to A? Do you think I saw the minute and a half thing? I think it looks fine. I've been rather disconnected from Pokemon for a while. I think Sword and Shield was good. Diamond and Pearl is my favorite, all-time favorite. I played a lot of that one, but I would say probably the last 10 years I've been pretty disconnected to it. I do think, engine or something. They need to make sure they're optimizing it well. I don't care if they switch engine. They can stay in the same engine because people don't really care how good the game looks. It can look like a PS3 game, which it does. But and that's fine. That's fine because those games have charm. They just have to be optimized. They have to show like a level of care, which I think, like, you look at Xenoblade Chronicles, and I think they show an effort of caring, and Pokemon games just oftentimes don't. So that's I think they're also kind of just being worked too fast. They probably just need more time for these things that they're not given. You know what I mean? No. I think Spider-Man 1 has a much better story and has better characters. But I think Spider-Man 2 is the better feel of the game. So I don't think it changes. I don't think it makes the other, obsolete. If you were to actually run DC, it wouldn't be going bang. Yeah, I think I could run it pretty well. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if I'd have all of the expertise to make all the decisions and stuff, but I think I could do a pretty good job there. Though they aren't DC, I want a Ghost Rider and Spawn game. Yeah, Ghost Rider gets shafted, quite a bit. Spawn is DC. What's happening with the Venom? I don't know. There's just so much back and forth with the Venom thing that I don't know. I think Venom could happen, But the leak just makes it more complicated, right? And it's kind of unfair. It's kind of unfair to them because then you go back to the leak and you say, okay, what's changed from it? And Venom they should do a Venom game. They should do a Venom game. Do you think we could get? Oh, I would love a Hulk game. Ultimate Destruction. There's a couple. There's a couple really, really great Hulk games that I think would be. There's a couple great Hulk games in the past that I would like to be brought back in some way, remade, remastered, something like that. But no, I think that would rock. But they struggle. I don't know the thing. Hollywood and all that stuff. I'm not that in tune with it. But like Hulk movies seem difficult to do, right? So I don't know if that would. I feel like they have a tough time with the licensing to do movies, and that's probably more important to them right now. And then gaming, like I don't know who you'd even have to go to. I don't know if it would be difficult or not, but I do think a Hulk game would freaking rock. It really would. A Daredevil game I think would be awesome. Do I need to play Yakuza 8 to understand what's happening in the pirate Yakuza? They mention so I've done a lot of this game. I'm going for the platinum and I've played about 18 hours, but I'm actually only like 60% done with the story. So I don't know about the ending, if anything like really matters in terms of the lore and stuff. Towards the middle of the game, they start to throw a couple facts at you from Infinite Wealth. I think you can understand it enough. Like they say it in like broad terms. It's nothing crazy. So I think you can do it, but there is some stuff in there that you might be confused about, If we did get another Uncharted, who do you think that I think it will be Cassie. I think Chloe and Nadine would be kind of cool to do another one of those, but I think personally they would probably do just a next game in the franchise, and so it's probably going to be his daughter. Yeah, from Omega Ruby to Scarlet. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like I've said a little about like my history, kind of growing up. I had Nintendo products. I respect Mario. I respect all of those games, Star Fox and stuff. But I don't know. It was just not my like Crash Bandicoot was my like early days of like people that were into a lot of Nintendo stuff or into this or into that. For me, that was literally just Crash Bandicoot, one franchise. But Pokemon, I remember getting like a Game Boy for Christmas. I was probably 5-6 years. I remember my sister's 3 years younger. I think we got a Game Boy at the same time, and I'm pretty sure we had Pokemon like as well, like the gas Pokemon. And I remember a good portion, even the DS. I remember going to my grandma's and going into the basement with my cousin and with my sister, and we would just all be just in our own kind of zone playing Pokemon. So I have very fond memories of it, but I was never super connected. So I never felt betrayed when they've done what they've done to it because I'm just not too connected. But I do. I've been around Pokemon for a long time, so I want it to be good. I want to enjoy it again one day. I don't know if I ever will, though. I would love IO Interactive to make a John Wick game too. Yeah, that'd be sweet. That'd be sweet. But let them do Bond first, But that would be awesome. I have played Grim Fandango. Granted, I think I played was it a remake or a remaster, whatever the newer version they put on PS Plus. I played that one. No, I haven't. CNN literary nothing meme. Maybe I don't know if I've never seen it described like that. I've seen a lot of memes though. Maybe I've seen it and just didn't know about it. Okay, final couple and then we're out of here. Web of Shadows on PS5. Me too. Those Activision games need to come back. Transformers, Deadpool, Marvel Ultimate Alliance, the Spider-Man games. There's a lot of gold there. And there's a lot of money to be made there. By the way, that's what I'm green lighting if I own Xbox. That's what I would do immediately, is do that. Yeah. I mean, people grow up with different stuff, Like obviously, like I remember watching so much SpongeBob and stuff. But as I got like a little bit older, the first like pop culture type thing would be like I think Yu-Gi-Oh. Honestly, Yu-Gi-Oh. I watched Bakugan a lot when I was probably 12 or 13. But before that, I mean, I had the deck hand thing for Yu-Gi-Oh. I participated in duels with my friends down the streets and stuff, and Yu-Gi-Oh is a big thing, but that wasn't really gaming. I've said that before with the Yu-Gi-Oh games. Like I haven't played so many of the Yu-Gi-Oh games because I just was never really into. We also didn't have a lot of money. Every console we got late, except for the Wii. I think we got like 2 months in, but generally we got consoles years after they came out, and we just wouldn't get a lot of games for them. Crash Bash was a game I probably sunk hundreds of hours. Sims 2, I sunk hundreds because we just didn't get a lot of games in general. Birthday and Christmas, that's it. It was there, especially even as I got a little bit older, 11, 12, 13. I had to buy the games myself, or I had to wait for those. I couldn't get a new game when it first came out. What's your favorite anime? Probably Yu-Gi-Oh. I think it has to be Yu-Gi-Oh. Modern day, probably like Demon Slayer. I really like Demon Slayer. I have met. Yep. Most of that's awesome. That's freaking awesome. Yeah, I've gone to several conventions. I've met like Nathan Fillion. He's from games, but obviously from a lot of other stuff. I've met him. I've met Nev Campbell a couple. So I've met a lot of the screen people. But then gaming, I've met Nolan North, I think like 4 times. Troy Baker. That might, I haven't met too many like voice people, but I'd like to. I went to the Denver Expo thing 2 years ago, and they had a pretty good like lineup of people. Last year was pretty bad. With the who came, so I just didn't go. But yeah, favorite superhero, probably Batman. Probably Batman. Hey, we gotta talk about Wonder Woman. Well, I think we've talked about like 80 different things. You guys can back me up in the chat. We've talked about a lot of things besides just Wonder Woman. So I think we did good. All right, guys. I think we reached the hour mark. So I appreciate you being here as always. Thank you for watching. Obviously there'll be videos going up tonight. There'll be videos on the weekend, and then like I said, probably next Friday we'll do a Scream live stream. Okay. I think that's going to be the plan. All right. So thank you for watching. What's my end thing for live streams? No, hope you guys all have a great one, great weekend. And I'll see you on the videos as they come up.